What's good, y'all? It's your boy Yeez, here to talk to y'all about my favorite time of the year, the NBA playoffs. Today, we're just going to be talking about the first round, and I'll be talking about each series and who I think is going to win. Along with that, I'll be giving my most intriguing matchup from each conference, along with 3 key players from each conference that I feel like will make a difference in their series. Before we get started, I just want to give a shout out to my boy Els and his brand, Forever Dangerous Apparel. They provided the shirt that I'm wearing today. I'm going to drop the Instagram below. Give them a follow, slide in the DM if you want to get you some drip. Now let's talk about these playoffs. For starters, I want to talk about the Nets and 76ers series. The 76ers are currently up 1-0, winning by a nice margin last night. Mikal Bridges did have another 30-point performance, but it wasn't enough as James Harden led the way for the 76ers. I definitely feel like the 76ers can win this series no more than 5 or 6 games. I just feel like the combo of Joel Embiid and James Harden, and then you add in Tyrese Maxey, that's just too much for the Nets overall, even though Mikal Bridges is going to put the team on his back. Next up, we got the Atlanta Hawks versus the Boston Celtics. The Celtics are currently up 1-0 in this series, with Jaylen Brown leading the way for them with 29 points. DeJounte Murray stepped up for the Hawks, but Trae Young had a very, very bad game, and I feel like the Celtics can possibly sweep this series because of that type of factor. If Trae Young isn't consistent in this series, it's going to be a very, very short series. Along with that, the Celtics are young and hungry and have championship aspirations, and having a long series with the Hawks just probably isn't in their plan. The NBA is always better when the Knicks are good, and right now, they're facing the Cavaliers in their series. The Knicks are currently up 1-0, with Jalen Brunson having a beautiful game last night, along with Julius Randle and Josh Hart stepping up as well. I definitely feel like the Cavs can bounce back in game 2. This series can possibly go 6 or 7 games, honestly, but my heart and my gut is telling me I'm rolling with the Knicks on this series. And lastly, from Saturday night's matchups, we got the Warriors and the Kings. The Kings are currently up 1-0, with De'Aaron Fox having a historic performance, scoring the second most points in the playoff debut with 38 points. The Kings also put an end to the longest NBA playoff drought in history, winning their first playoff game in 17 years. I definitely feel like people are not giving the Kings the respect that they deserve due to the fact that they're facing the defending champions in the first round. But I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Kings are going to win this series in 7 games, eliminating the defending champs in the first round. Now let's talk about Sunday's matchups. First up, we're going to talk about the LA Lakers versus the Memphis Grizzlies. I'm really on the fence about this series due to the fact that LeBron James is my favorite all-time player, and Ja Morant is one of the most exciting players right now in the NBA, along with being one of my favorites as well. I definitely feel like the loss of Steven Adams is going to hurt the Grizzlies in the end in this series, so I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that the Lakers can win this series in 6 or 7 games. The leadership and basketball IQ of LeBron James might be the deciding factor in this series, honestly, along with the fact that the Grizzlies do not have Steven Adams down low in the paint, and I feel like that's something Anthony Davis needs to take advantage of. So give me the Lakers in 6 or 7. Next up, we got the Miami Heat versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Giannis Antetokounmpo is hungry for another championship, and even though Giannis Antetokounmpo is one of the 3 finalists for MVP this year, I personally feel like he was a little disrespected in the talks due to the fact that the Bucks do have the best record in the NBA. So with that being said, even though Jimmy Butler is going to play his heart out, I definitely feel like the Bucks are going to take care of business. No more than 5 or 6 games this series, and the Bucks will be going on to the next round. Next up, we got what I think is the most interesting first round matchup, the LA Clippers versus the Phoenix Suns. The Suns added Kevin Durant at the trade deadline. To me, that makes them a sleeper to win the NBA title, along with the fact that Paul George may miss the early part of this series, and that's a huge, huge factor for the Clippers because outside of Kawhi Leonard, who else can they depend on to score the ball? So with that being said, I got the Suns winning this series, maybe 5 or 6 games. I don't see it going no more than 6, but depending on how the first 2 games go in this series, it could maybe be a sweep with no Paul George. And lastly, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets. The Timberwolves are young and hungry, but they don't have enough firepower for the Denver Nuggets. I feel like Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray will definitely take care of business against this team, and I feel like this series will not go no more than 5 games. I feel like the Timberwolves can maybe win a game at home, but that's about it. The Nuggets are hungry. They got something to prove. They got a chip on their shoulder, and they're going to take care of business in this first round. Now let's discuss what I think are the 2 most intriguing series in the first round. One from each conference. First, we're going to start off with the West. Out West, I feel like the most intriguing series is the Golden State Warriors versus the Sacramento Kings. The reason why I feel like it's the most intriguing is because people are disrespecting the Kings, thinking that the Warriors are just going to walk through them due to the fact that they're the defending champions. They have Steph Curry, they have Klay Thompson, they have great shooting. But I feel like the Kings are young, the Kings are hungry, the Kings have just ended the playoff drought. Their fan base is hyped and ready to be here. And I just feel like the Kings are just going to prove to the people that, they're here. Simple as that. Now over in the East, I feel like the most intriguing matchup is the New York Knicks versus the Cleveland Cavaliers. I say that it's the most intriguing due to the fact that both teams added very nice additions. The Cavaliers adding Donovan Mitchell and the Knicks adding Jalen Brunson, and that brought both of these teams to the playoffs this year. Also, due to the fact that this series can become very defensively, as you can see from last night in game 1, it was a very low scoring game, and I just feel like that's going to make this series very fun. I feel like the Knicks are going to come out on top in the end, but I feel like this series is probably going to be the most fun to watch in the first round coming out the East. Next, we're going to discuss 3 key players in each conference, starting with the Western Conference. The first player that I feel like is going to be very key in this series is Anthony Davis. We know Anthony Davis can be kind of injury prone, but hopefully he doesn't catch that bug this series and be able to take advantage of the fact that Steven Adams is missing for the Grizzlies. I definitely feel like Anthony Davis is going to have to average 25 points and maybe 8 or 9 boards a night, along with the fact that he just has to be there for the team, be there to help LeBron out and be there to help lead the Lakers to the next round, because I think the Lakers can go, especially if Anthony Davis plays the way he knows how to play. The next player that I feel like is going to be very key in the Western Conference, De'Aaron Fox. Now, De'Aaron Fox put up the second most points in the playoff debut yesterday with 38 points. The way he played last night, nobody on the Warriors can guard him. He can score at will and be able to facilitate for his team as well. And I also feel like De'Aaron Fox understands the magnitude of the matchup that he has with Stephen Curry at the point guard position. They'll be going back and forth all series, but I feel like De'Aaron Fox is going to have the edge and come out on top in the end. And the last key player that I have for the Western Conference, this might be kind of surprising, but I'm going to roll with Russell Westbrook. I feel like with the fact that Paul George will be missing for the early part of the series, Russell Westbrook has to step up big for the Clippers. And also due to the fact that, hey, he's going up against Kevin Durant, and we know how he can get when it comes to that matchup. So hopefully Russell Westbrook steps up big for the Clippers in this series. Maybe can help them win a few games, but like I said, I don't think that the Clippers are going to win this series, but we never know. Depending on maybe how Russell Westbrook plays, we'll see. Now let's talk about some key players coming out of the Eastern Conference. First key player that I have for you all, Julius Randle. Julius Randle had a double-double last night, 19 points, 10 rebounds. But I feel like Julius Randle might need to step that point total up just a little bit if he wants to be able to win this series. I feel like this series is going to be close, but I feel like depending on the way that Julius Randle plays, if Julius Randle can get his point total to 23, 24 a night to help Jalen Brunson, then I feel like that'll be a key factor in this series. So if Julius Randle struggles in this series, expect the Knicks to struggle. Simple as that. My second player coming out the East as a key player, James Harden. We know that James Harden has a history of playoff troubles here and there, but I definitely feel like James Harden will be able to step up in this first round. And along with the fact that Joel Embiid by his side takes a little load off of him. So I definitely feel like if James Harden performs well, the 76ers will also perform well. If he struggles, 76ers will struggle. The last key player that I have coming out of the Eastern Conference in the first round, Bucks point guard Jrue Holiday. I feel like Jrue Holiday will need to step up in the sense of facilitating and getting the assists for his team. We don't expect Jrue Holiday to be a scorer, even though he had a few crazy performances to end the season. But maybe if Jrue Holiday can step the scoring up too, that'll help out as well. But even though I feel like the Bucks will have an easy series against the Heat, I feel like Jrue Holiday is going to be a key factor in that. I feel like if he struggles, then it might become a long series. But if he's successful, then the series will be pretty easy, ending in 4 or 5 games. And those are my thoughts on the first round of the NBA playoffs. Before I get out of here, I just want to say, make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share. Shout out to Forever Dangerous Apparel for the drip. And again, we'll be doing this again for the second round of the playoffs, the conference finals, and then we're going to have a nice long video about the NBA finals. Hope to see y'all there. Thanks for tapping in, and I'm out of here.